a show. It's a podcast show. Welcome to the Julie Cross Podcast Show. Empowering, energising and entertaining. Hi everybody, Julie Cross here. Something a little bit different today. Oh, well, you know me by now. It might be not a little bit different. But I've just been sitting here having a chat with my podcast producer and she said, you got to do a rant about that. So this is about relationships. Now look, take it lightly, because I'm just going to do a bit of a catch up on some of the experiences I've had in relationships and probably express a little bit of my frustration around this. And so see the humour and see the fun in it. Yeah, I know I've got work to do, because you see what happens with a relationship, of course, is that you're rubbing up against somebody. I mean, I don't mean rubbing up physically. I mean the other rubbing up emotionally. So stuff comes out and yeah, there's some self-reflection on that. But man, and I'm sorry, but there's also probably some judgment from me of them as well, or let me call it an observation. So let me share some of my observation. I met this guy from Melbourne. So we met at a conference. I know it does happen every now and again at a conference. So we met and, I resisted a little bit and, but no, he kept up. So we ended up going to visit him. He lived in Melbourne. I'd go down and visit. We spent time together, met his daughter fairly soon. We're having a lovely time. He was expressing that it was so fantastic. It was great. And it was all lovely. And I was thinking, this is it. It feels great. And he's the one that's really pushed for it. Yep, it's good. It's all good. Then I met his family. That was it. So I meet the family, meet the sisters, meet the mother, and I don't know what happens after that. But then, I don't know, maybe they didn't like me. Is that what it was? And maybe, I don't know, maybe he does what his sisters and mother say. I don't know. But next thing you know, the next phone call is we're broken up. And he goes, well, you live in Brisbane, I live in Melbourne. I go, well, I'm not a tree. I can move. What, you think I can't move down there? You think I can't do that? Oh, but how would we do it? I don't know. How won't we do it? Why couldn't we just give it a go? I don't understand that. Oh, well, maybe I'm not ready. What, you just now know you're not ready because now I'm in your life. You know you're not ready because you wouldn't have known you're not ready until I guess you had someone come in your life and now you know you're not ready. Glad I've been of service in that. You discovered that. Thanks very much. So that was that. Then I met this other guy and so we were going along quite nicely too, and it was feeling pretty good. And feels nice. And then so then suddenly one day, and he's got to know Thomas, and that's all kind of nice. And then one day he says to me, rings me and goes, "Oh, Julie, do you know you're different around Thomas?" Now, this is my Thomas that lives with autism. And so he said, I just noticed that you're a little bit different when Thomas is around or when you've been with Thomas. And I'm like, you serious? No shit, Sherlock. Maybe he's just called me a cunt in the car and it might take me a minute. It just might take me a minute to transition back into a good mood. So, yeah, sometimes you might see a different side of me. Like, aren't relationships supposed to be that soft place to fall? Aren't relationships supposed to be that place where you can show them the worst of yourself and know that they will still love you tomorrow and that's okay? I mean, and clearly, to be fair, he obviously didn't love me enough or he would have felt that. But yeah, maybe I am sometimes a little bit different when Thomas is around. And then there was that thing too where he said, well, I don't know yet if I'm falling in love with you. And he sort of said, well, are you in love? And I go, well, I think it's falling in love, isn't it, for a reason? Because I've had the quick thing before and that was just lust. So I'm thinking, well, it's falling in love. So it's kind of a process of falling. So I said to him, well, have you been in love before? Because all I've heard about is negative interactions with his wife and how terrible she was and how terrible all that was, and that she had no interest in anything that he was doing. He didn't like gardening, didn't like doing anything he liked doing, and didn't want to converse with him and didn't want to have sex with him after the honeymoon. So I was thinking, well, I wonder if he's ever been in love. So I said, well, have you been in love? And he said, oh, well, I think so. I mean, I guess I was in love with my wife. Well, is that what you think love looks like? Because I think love's a verb. So if that's what you think love looks like, do you think love looks like not having sex after marriage and not wanting to do anything with you and not wanting to share any interest with you and not wanting to have a conversation with you? Is that what you think love looks like? Because to me, love looks like enjoying cooking meals together, drinking wine together, projects together, being in the garden together, looking across at each other and noticing each other there and smiling and laughing together. That kind of is love in action to me.
So if all that's happening, then I'm starting to feel like that maybe love's around and that we fall in love. See, it's so confusing. So I don't know anymore if that's what love is or not, or I don't know. And then there's this other fella, and I go out with him for a little while and we're having a good time too. And he's a bit younger than me, but I figure he knows how old I am. I mean, why wouldn't he know how old I am? It's pretty obvious how old I am, and I've got these grown-up children, and at some point it came out that I am turning 50 this year. So, we're going along nicely, and that's fine. And then one day he says to me, I think we should do a bit of a relationship catch up and see how we're at. And I said, okay. He said, I said, well, hey, you go first. You've obviously got something prepared. So he said, well, I think we're doing pretty well here, and I'm enjoying this, and I think we could be boyfriend and girlfriend. And I go, well, boyfriend and girlfriend, that would be nice. Yeah. And he goes, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I'm having fun here too. We could see how it goes. I said, well, if we're a boyfriend and girlfriend, what would that mean? What would we do differently? And he goes, oh, well, you'd have to stop seeing all those other men. Joke. So funny. And I would too. Yeah, that's funny. And then he goes, okay, then that's great. And he goes, and by the way, I want to have kids. I go, I beg your pardon. He said, yeah, I want to have a baby. And I go, hey, is this a joke? Like, you do know how old I am, don't you? Like, I am 50, turning 50. So I think that has passed. But did you already know that? Is that why you're now saying you want kids? So you've just said that we should be boyfriend and girlfriend, but now you're telling me you want kids, which means you're effectively breaking up with me because I can't have kids. So is that what you're doing? I don't understand. It's so confusing. I just don't understand what's going on here. And so, It is all a bit confusing, this relationship thing. And then I talk to my girlfriends and I hear some of the stuff they go through in their relationships, and I say to myself, enjoy being single for now. It's all okay. And in this process, if they're learning something about themselves, then, what a gift I've been to them. And if they teach me something about myself, which, yes, I'm sure I've got lots to learn, then they too have been a gift to me. So I send them off with love. I'll see you next time. Love to hear your thoughts about this show, or if there is something that you would love discussed on the Julie Cross podcast show, then please head over to iTunes and leave a review. Love to hear from you.